We're gonna go over 2 banded hip distractions for you to do before a workout, followed by a couple of activation exercises. So here I have the band a little bit lower than hip height attached to the rig. It's gonna be pulling, you're gonna loop your back leg through, it's gonna be pulling you out towards the rig. So if you imagine the head of your femur in your hip socket, it's just kind of creating a little bit of space there. If you ever feel any of that like pinching going on, A, go see a therapist, but B, you can try this hip distraction to see if creating some space makes it feel a little bit better, okay? Don't go to the point of pain. It should be kind of hard given that you have a band and we're pretty strong, but it should just be like a comfortable kind of pulling, all right? This will obviously engage your core a little bit too because you have to fight that. From here, draw the rib cage and the hips towards each other so we get this canister, right? Our stacked pelvis and diaphragm, and you're just gonna hinge forward with the hips, right? Until you feel a stretch all through the hip flexor. So stay long through your spine. We can also add a reach through to create more length here, just opening up all through the side. After we hold that for 30 to 60 seconds, you're gonna come down to all fours, moving into more of a child's pose. So the band is still pulling you this way, and then you're just gonna sit back into it, okay? Here you can play with your position, rock side to side, move away if now that you're on all fours you have more stability, so you need more of a pull that way. Move into this, again, about a minute on each side, okay? Creating some space there. Now, we're gonna follow this up by moving into some 90-90 lift-offs and press downs, okay? So some pails and rails. Shin box position, and if you don't know how to get here, just come into your, what would be your squat stance if you were standing, let both knees fall to the side. And then I kind of adjust a little bit here for my own preference. So we have our back hip bone pressing straight down into the ground, okay? And then we're gonna start by contracting the ankle, press down, the knee, press down, and the hip, everything pressing this front leg down into the ground, okay? 10 seconds as hard as you can. You should start to shake a little bit. From here, we're gonna relax, take a deep breath, keep the spine long, and then fold forward into this without letting the whole back leg roll. It's really easy to roll into this, so you wanna stay keeping that back hip kind of where it is, locked in space, all right? So just folding forward, maybe you don't get too far, about 10 seconds. We're gonna come out of that. 3 rounds of that. Press as hard as you can, and then fold, relaxing. We're gonna follow that up with 3 rounds, same rep scheme, 10 and 10. This time, instead of pressing down, you're gonna lift off. And by lift off, I mean you're gonna try to lift off because it might not get very far. So I'm gonna take a deep breath and I'm gonna try to demonstrate to the best of my ability. Okay, so here's a lift off with minimal compensation from this leg. Again, we don't wanna it's easy to lean back into this and kind of cheat our way there. We don't want to do that. So 10 seconds holding here. You'll feel this right here in the inside of your hip. You may or may not cramp up depending on if you've done these often before or you know where your strengths and weaknesses are. But same rep scheme, all right, lift off and then fold forward, okay? So it's important that we follow up any of these passive stretches like the banded, if you're kind of like passively sitting in a pigeon pose, whatever we're doing, with some active contractions so we get that end range strength that we need that will really benefit us when it comes to really anything that we do involving squatting. Okay, hope that helps.